Hey guys, it's Weston here. So today we're going to be reviewing the SoundMagic ES19S earphones. So I'd just like to thank KS Distribution for sending these out to review. So as always, let's kick off with the design. So you can see the earphones have a really nice modern clean look. So around the back you've got a really nice piano glossy black. In the centre we've got a small band. So this is finished off in silver and it's a really nice contrast. And then at the front we've got a more matte finish as well. So it's a really nice modernist look. Around the back of the housing we've got the SoundMagic logo and your right and left indicator, so you know which one goes in which. Going down onto the cable now, and it's a soft coated finish, so it feels really nice, it's really smooth, it doesn't sort of catch on your clothes or anything like that, and it's just generally really nice. Going down a little bit more and you've got your microphone controller, so this can double as a play, pause and skip track button as well. There's your microphone, and it also is universal as well, which I will tell you more about in a second. So this little switch here allows you to get that functionality I was talking about with it being universal. So you can see the little A and B switch, so what you do is switch between them and that changes something in the earphones, I'm not really sure, it's just like a mode setting, and you can switch between different brands of phones. So here you'll see a list, so the position A is your iPhone, your BlackBerry, your HTC and your newer Samsung models. And then your position B is Nokia, Samsung, older models, Xperia phones and Motorola as well, which I tested these with for this review. So then finally you've got your 3.5mm jack. So this is gold plated and it's a pretty standard straight connector like you see on most of the rear phones at this price. So now we get on to build, and the housing itself is made out of plastic and they do feel generally robust. The connections going in earphones are not the best I've ever encountered, they do feel a little bit flimsy. I don't think they're going to come loose or break anytime soon, but it's just worth noting. The button does feel pretty nice though on the remote, it's not too mushy and it's got a nice feel to it. It's just the connections around the remote that don't feel the strongest I've ever experienced. So you can see the same can be said around the controller as well. So this feels pretty solid in itself, it's just the connections on either side are not, like I said, the highest grade or highest quality I've ever come across. So then we get down to the 3.5mm jack again, and that feels robust in itself. The connection here does feel a little bit better than the rest of the earphones, but then again this is the part of the earphone that does get the most use. So now on to comfort, and we do get quite a few selection of ear tips. So we get a large, a medium and a small, which I use on the actual earphones themselves. So I find that these are pretty comfortable. The large and medium were a little bit too big for me, so I use the small ones and they are perfectly fine. The fit is really nice, the tips are really nice and soft as well, so they don't rub in your ears. And I just found that these fit really nice as well. So up next is isolation and leak, and again I am very impressed. Now for isolation they do really brilliant there. Like I test all my headphones and earphones, I go on the Bose, which are usually really noisy, just to see the level, the noise they block out, and these performed really well, actually much better than what I expected. So like I said, because these seem to seal really nicely in my ears, they obviously work better at blocking out noise. And this can be said with the tips as well. The tips are just really nicely designed, really nicely shaped, and they just seem to seal in your ears really nice, obviously isolating you from background noise. The same can be said from leak as well, because they isolate well, they don't leak that much either. So if you're sat next to someone on the bus, you're not really going to annoy anyone unless they're like really sat up next to you. But even then, it's only going to be noticeable at the higher volumes above 80%. So they score very well here. So up next is specifications, and these are rocking a 10mm neodymium driver, 15 to 22,000 frequency response, a 92 decibel sensitivity, so they're relatively easy to drive, a 1.2 meter long cable, which is just the perfect length in my opinion. Like I've said already, they do have a mic and a controller. So that microphone has a frequency response of 20 to 16,000 Hz, which is a very good frequency response. And that also has a sensitivity of 42 decibels. Last up, we've got a 3.5mm gold plated connector, and they weigh in at 15 grams, which is very featherweight. So now we've got to the microphone quality, and it's very impressive. It's very clear, and I've been told that it's very nice on the other end of a conversation. It's not the loudest microphone that's been heard, and it is a little bit on the quiet side, but it's very nice and clear. That can be said through the audio through the earphones as well. That is very nice and very clear. So if you use your earphones as your sort of hands-free kit, then these are brilliant for that, and you can definitely hold a good conversation as long as you're in a sort of quieter environment. So next up is the main event, the sound quality. So as always, we kick off with the bass, and the bass is very tight, it's very controlled, it's very punchy, and it's fairly deep. It's got a bit of a kick in the upper realms of the bass as well, which is very nice. I did notice though they were lacking a little bit of detail, but I can't really complain too much for the price. The mid-range is very clear, it's got plenty of presence, and it is fairly detailed too. It's not very sort of expansive or open, and it's a little bit closed in. The vocals are very, very nice though. They're very clean, they're very clear, and they're fairly powerful as well. So I do like a powerful vocal, and these do deliver on that. So next up is the highs, and again these are very present, they're very easy to hear. They can be a little bit brash and a little bit harsh at times, and they can sound a little bit mechanical on occasion too. Overall though, it's a very fairly balanced sound with a slight bias towards the bass, but this can be easily fixed with a slight reduction in the bass in your EQ. So what do I think of the SoundMagic ES19S? Well, to be honest, I really do like them. I mean, they're very nicely designed, they're very nicely made. They isolate noise really well, and they don't leak too bad either. The sound, like I've just said, is very impressive too. And for £20 in the UK, I think these are a cracking buy. So that is it for this review. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Any shares, comments, likes will be greatly appreciated as well. So that is it. That is my review done. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all on the very next video.